Dumpling, kiss your boy, yink. Welcome to the show. Continuing up, having a wonderful day on this beautiful morning. Well, beautiful evening of the 22nd, 2025. 22nd September. I'm sorry, I just woke up, which is why we got a energy drink. Um, Today's video, we already did an intro, so it's not an intro. What could it be? Well, technically speaking, it's a little bit of a message. I wanted to be open with you guys. I want to talk to you guys. As you guys seen lately, there's a lot less content, and with a lot less content, I'm very less present on the social media. I wanted to come back on the reason as to why, and there's some really good reason. Don't worry, we're not giving up. There's nothing wrong. There's some really good reason. Like for example, we slept for 9 hours today. We slept a lot. Um, this morning, what happened is I went to the government, and I was exhausted. I was exhausted. So we came back, and because we came back, well, because we came back, I was exhausted because it's a lot of focus, and I'm not used to focusing that much. I'm more used to get the chaotic energy. So the energy necessary to control that is a bit hard. Okay, so why are we less present on social media? Well, with a new job, there's always this need, if you will, to what do we call it? There's always this need, if you will, to kind of how can I say this? There's always this need, right, to do as best we can. Um, at work, but also in the personal life. My personal life is basically social media, right? It's so hard to come on here and be vulnerable. But we've done it plenty of time. It's just that usually when I do it, it's for content. Now this is more personal life, and I feel like I'm neglecting you guys for myself, which is feel guilty. Appreciate mango guru. Really good. So yeah, so with work, it's been redoing. It's been going really well, and it's kind of nuts because um it's only 6 hours a day. It's only 3 days a week, so that's not enough. That's not even enough to pay the bills. But I'm working, right, which is great. So why is that so much of an effort? Because again, 18 hours. It's an effort because you're working from 8 to 2, and you have to wake up for the sunrise because you like filming the sunrise. You have to do the plans for if you were working no more hours. So this is not a complaint video. This is just a explanation of how we're doing. This is a life update, if you will. You see how much it's raining outside? We're actually comfy. It's actually warm. Um, Also, we've been meeting more of the government, and it's kind of odd because it is to help me, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Both people have helped me tremendously. Um, and there's really, and long term, there's really been already benefits to it, and there'll be more benefit to it, right? However, what really is going on is that I find myself in a position where, um, how could I say this? I find myself in a position where um, you want to give your best. Okay, so for example, right? For example, you went to class, right? In some of the courses you had less interest, and some of the classes you okay, this is actually a really good explanation. Some of the class you went at school, you had less interest. Some of them you had more interest. So the one that you had more interest, you tend to focus more on because like, okay, well, this is something I like doing, and this is something that I'm going to be using. For example, with myself, it was math, right? Now I'm going to be completely honest here, and this is bad look on me, but I don't care. um if you look at my knowledge, if you look at what I remember from school and my good grades, math was a lot better. Sorry, things like things like geography, I didn't care about. Things like French, which was my first language, I failed because I was too cocky with it, right? So you put a lot more effort into some courses, and then you had an excuse because you're like, okay, well, I might not have focused in this class, and this is a bad excuse. But I'm just saying the truth. I'm just saying how it is. Well, I didn't focus in this class, but I'm going to focus on this class, right? And because I'm focusing on this class, I would skip in grade 11. I would skip PE to go to the gym. I was still working out, so I was like, okay, well, what's the issue, right? There's no equivalence. The best part is a balance of everything, right? But as a kid, you don't know that. So when I go to the government, it's courses, and it's courses that demands a lot because they're telling me about giving out CVs, interview, resume. Ink has a good time talking, but Steph, it's really different. It's very different. I'm that guy who's able to talk, but I'm so on the surface. And yes, I talk a lot, but it's so on the surface that whenever they ask me a question that's a bit more challenging, I freeze because I'm like, holy shit, you know. We're diving deeper. Also, the interview process is quite manageable because again you're doing it in a sense of, well, I'm going to be doing this here, this then, this here, this then, this here, this then, right? So it's never on a degree of it's never on a degree of we have to do this together, right? It's more so on a degree of um it's more so on a degree of, okay, time to shine. When you practice this, just go. When I go to this, the I think you start when I go to the governmental meeting, right? This is the whole video is pointless because the ending is so easy, but it's step by step. You know, I kind of start from A to B, because otherwise it'll be weird. So yes, you're achieving a lot, which is phenomenal. But at the same time, you're not achieving a lot because, like, okay, well, I have 2 appointments per weeks, and it's nuts because you like she tells like, hey, how did you improve since last week? I'm like, oh, I'm still the same guy, you know. Sorry, and it's so weird because yes, it's 2 times per week, but it's 2 hours in a week. 2 hours is nothing. It's about 144 plus 24. It's 168 hours. 2 hours is nothing, right? So it seemed like it's such a minute amount of time, and also this is possibly my problem. But when I come out of the government, I am back to being Ink. You know, gonna be Steph for a while, and this is a fear that I have. This is a really big fear. I've been Ink for so long, you know, that going back to Steph, it's kind of complex. It feels less natural than being Ink, which is completely insane. But yeah, it's something a bit more complex, right? But at the same time, and it's the psyching up is the complete change. Is I gotta be myself for this amount of time, right? And it's the constant change, right? That's what's fucking me up. So then we come back home and we start to do content. The content we're doing, although I love the content we're doing, is not my choice. For example, The Good Place. The Good Place, I remember being a great show. I'm watching right now, and it's not that great. However, is it not that good because I'm comparing it to a show that I watched before? Truth is, when I first watched it, I didn't watch a lot of show. I was watching the same show over and over. But a show should be treated as one show. It shouldn't be treated as something. Hey, you know what? This reminded me of this. So otherwise, we're kind of fucked. And it's worth it because I get my mom saying she's proud of me. You know, my father was proud of me, and this means a lot. He didn't say it, but listen, he didn't say I love you in years, so we'll take it, right? And it's complex because these people are reliant on me. Now, I know what you're saying, dude. It's your parents. We love you, and I get that. I get that. But the reality is, the amount of people in my personal life that knew me before I started making content are a small amount or a large minority. I don't know how you can say that. Large minority. They are meaningful to me, but they don't know. Like, and again, because we're more than often than not, more often than not, we're Ink versus Steph. I sometimes feel like an imposter syndrome. I'm sometimes feeling I go in, right? And this is insane. And this is what happened this morning. And I'll be completely honest. It's a work of self-reflection, right? So I go in, and right away I'm asking her, because it's a her. Hey, how are you? How's everything, right? And I'm very comfortable. And then she started asking me stuff, and I'm like, holy shit. She's not talking to Ink, she's talking to Steph. And there's a click in my head. Okay, well, back to being the normal person, right? And at the same time, I feel like two of the only people, like, I got friends, but those friends know what I'm doing and they follow everything, you know. but it's like with my parents is a second nature, you know. It's a second nature. I don't have. They know me as Steph, but they also know me as Ink, so it's kind of special. But it's really rare in my day to day life where I have to be somebody else. And at work, you know, at work, it was so good when I was working like full time because I was forced to be having this two life, right? And that balance wasn't perfect. The balance was there, and now it's really weird. It's really weird for me. It's really weird, but at the same time, you know, and it's the implication behind it. Are you the person who's struggling financially? Are you the person who is looking for a better job? Because the job that I have is good, but if I'm working and I cannot pay the bills, there's a problem, right? However, the job that I have right now is a big upgrade from the job that I had before. In the job that I have right now, I have a couple months to suffer. After that, I'm gonna be able to say, "Hey, can I get a new job in this company?" So it's like a paid internship, if you will. Look at it like that, right? Paid internship. So, are you talking about the person who's struggling financially, the person who's struggling to find a better position, the person that is contenting themselves a lot, you know? See, and this is insane because you look at the video that I made lately, how being broke is a blessing. It's a blessing for me because I don't need always to buy things, right? But for Steph, it's like, well, you know what? I felt like eating that today, and I can't because I cannot afford it. Yeah, it's a very different reality, and I feel like possibly the reality versus the person is what's different. The reality versus the what I'm what I'm the person versus what is happening, right? And as crazy as it seems, like this is so much of my life, right? Like this is the last 4 years condensed, right? That this becomes like a reality. This becomes like me, myself, putting myself in the world. But then you do it physically because right now this is psychologically. You do it physically and like holy shit, you know. And it's tough. It's tough. But at the same time, you know, and for the work, it's really weird because when we're at work, we're allowed to have music. So I go in place, and I feel like this is a missing part of the puzzle. We're going on place. Um we're in the vortex of this is real life. This is something that's happening in concrete. You do this, you get paid. You do this, you get paid. You do this, you get in trouble because you made a mistake. Right? There's real stake, but there's also real rewards. Um, and it's very in your face, right? Then you put the music, and you're somehow a foot in reality and a foot out of reality. And disconnect with reality for so long, and it's hard. It's hard. I was talking about my parents. So there's a chance that subconsciously you live outside of reality. So you live in a reality where you're your own boss, you're doing what you want, you're working crazy hours, you're spending your days socially, chronically ill online. You know the expression, touch grass. What is grass? I don't even remember. Um, and then your parents are so present in your life. You're so lucky to have the parents that you have. And even though um you're out of reality, something from reality doesn't affect you, right? There's time where I'm myself in real life and it feels like a dream. It feels like it feels like I don't know myself. And this is the tiring part. And with the work, if you guys notice, we've been working for 3 weeks, and if you guys notice, things started changing 3 weeks ago. So is it the worst that's tiring? No, no. Is it the appointment in the government that's changing me? No, because we've been having those for a month and a half. It's the constant change of personality. It's the constant change of reality. It's the constant change of I'm here or I'm here in the real world. And I know it's hard to understand, but if I have to put it like that, I have to put it. And there needs to be a balance, and the job, the appointment is balance, right? At the same time, I know it's weird, but you have to understand that social media gave me everything that I wanted and more. Social media gave me a reason to be online for a while. It gave me social behavior. It gave me affection. It gave me friendship. It gave me something productive to do. I could create my own reality in social media, and I think that I created my own reality, and I think this is what we're suffering right now. It almost feels dystopian. It almost feels dystopian and also feel almost like a utopia. You know? And that's pretty much it. So, anyway, long enough video. I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.